stepdad was something else, but I thank God for my stepdad. Thank God for that man, because that man taught me how to have a spine. That's right. And I was definitely gonna need that spine when my daddy came back into the picture. I was definitely gonna need that spine. I was definitely gonna need some of that thug mentality, on certain things now. Look, ain't nothing just absolutely 100% wrong unless it's from the devil. If you look, you let me put it in. This is just a side note. You can find God in anything. You can find God in anything. Matter of fact, you can find God in even a lie. And let me explain that before any of y'all get crazy or anything. But I'm just going to tell you what the Bible says. Look, watch this. A lie is only a good lie if it's 90% truth, 10% lie. That's how they get you. See, if they don't make it believable, then it's not going to be, you know what I'm saying? So there's some truth in that lie. It's just not 100% truth. And truth is 100% truth. It means that if you had 100 cases, 100% of the time, this is going to be the result of it. And so the bottom line is that there were some things that this man taught me in the mentality that he put into me in certain things. It actually ended up helping me later in life. And again, I was going to need it once my dad finally got his stuff together and decided, you know what? Let me get my butt back to my wife and my kid and raise this family and direct this family in the way that they need to. Okay. So bottom line, my dad came back in the picture. Said, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get this done. Give me another chance. So he came back in the picture, and that was a whole situation in itself, because first of all, he had to get around my stepdad, and be able to matriculate that situation, which was hilarious, to say the least. Literally, it was crazy. I never forget. So stepdad went over to meet with my dad, because my dad was basically meeting with him, saying, "Hey, your time is over, brother. I got to have my wife, my kid." So my stepdad went over there, and this was on Piedmont Avenue. And back in the day, in Atlanta, if anybody knows anything about Atlanta, Piedmont is like a very popular street now, because you got Piedmont Park over there, you got all kind of stuff, goes past Colony Square. It's just a very vibrant area. But back then, it wasn't so much. It wasn't so much. And so this man, my dad was living right off of Piedmont or somewhere around there. And the guy got out the car. And remember, I told you he's a thug now. And so my dad comes on the stairs, and my dad was a very sophisticated man. Robert. My name is Robert Sacre. He's very educated, very articulate, very, prestigious, and so he comes on the stairs, and he's, because he, wants to meet the guy. And my stepdad gets out of the car, and they had the little Volkswagens back in the day. They had a little B-Bug or whatever, the little Volkswagen. He gets out of the Volkswagen. He's a tall man. And then all of a sudden, he started doing karate and stuff, coming up the street, showing off his moves. Who said he's going to meet my dad? He's like, "Oh, you." And so it's my cousin. I can't remember if it was my cousin Dante or Jeffrey. It was somebody. We were in the car looking at my stepdad going up the street. He just going up the street doing all these karate moves like he about to go and kick my daddy's butt. I mean, he looked like he's mad too, boy. He's like, "Well, I'm about to. And so he goes on upstairs, and oh man, Dad about to get his butt kicked, because like I said, my dad wasn't no fighter. He was like, "Hello, how are you?" That kind of stuff. And so all of a sudden, they disappeared into the building. And by the time they came out, John was in a totally different mood. He was very reserved, and he ended up leaving me and my cousins there with my dad. We were quite amazed. Cause it was like, what in the world? How in the what did this man get this guy that was about to whoop his tail? He was about to Hong Kong Fooey on him. We used to have this cartoon, Hong Kong Fooey. We thought it was ready. So, you know, but he left us there with my dad. But at that point, that was the start of, me being raised by my dad. And so it was a different situation. And like I said, I'm going to show you where the time with my stepdad, who was a straight thug, who brought us up in a terrible, terrible environment. I'm going to show you where what I learned in that environment, God was able to take it and turn around for my good so that I don't have any disdain for my stepdad. I'm actually very thankful to him because God said to be thankful in everything. Anyway, and I'm gonna show you how it helped me. So my dad brought me in and he started to raise me. And it was a totally different raising. It was not, we went from Slits malt liquor bull and marijuana and beer and all this stuff like this to, okay, Kevin, we're going to go to Little 5 Points and go to 7 Under, the health food store. What? The health food? You mean I can't get my cinnamon roll, my hot dog, and my Lance cooking? Man, what you talking about? He want to go in there, he's going to make you homemade peanut butter. Peanut butter right from the machine where they make it right in front of you. They take you just buy the peanuts, put it in the machine, and the thing would etch out this peanut butter. That was the worst peanut butter I've tasted in my life. Come on, man. My dad. They call my dad the seed man. That's what they call him. Some people call him the professor as well, but they called him the seed man because he was all in this health stuff and oh Lord have mercy, man. I was a pork bacon and anyway, we ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, this is what he was all about. And but what else he was all about? He was about getting rid of that thug mentality or that I won't say the thug mentality because I learned that between the ages, they say, and I'm just saying they say, but I think this does bear out because the Bible, talks about youthfulness and teaching the child and the youth and all stuff like this. So the ages of 1 to 5 are very poignant when it comes to a child learning things. And so I was with him that entire time. I was with my stepdad that entire time. So I, you know, had a certain mentality on certain things. But what my dad did want to do, I'm sure he wanted to get rid of the mentality too. But what he definitely wanted to do is he wanted to get rid of the rough edges. He did not want me to look like a thug. He did not want me to talk like a thug. And he definitely did not want me to be like a thug. And so my dad went on a mission, about a 3 to 4 year mission of deprogramming me from that lifestyle. And he was relentless. It was not uncommon for my dad to have a switch on the table, the rod of correction. Okay. Look, I call this, look, it wasn't the real rod of correction. This was the hood rod of correction. This was the country rod of correction. This is some Alabama, what I'm saying, South Georgia type of, rod of correction. And it was called a switch. And so my dad used that switch relentlessly on me for those 4 years to get that thug mindset, that thug talking, that thug mentality out of me. So when he met me, I might say something like, "Hey, Daddy, where we going to? Where we be at right now, Daddy?" They said that when you go down the street down there, we can come back tomorrow. Stuff, crazy stuff like that. What you be doing? My dad was like, "Boy, you are a Zachary. He gonna be talking like that. Mm-mm. Not my son. Not my son. My son will not be talking like that." And so he used that rod of correction very, very actively, very frequently to get that stuff out of me. And I thank God for that as well. I thank God for my dad doing that. It had an impact on me. Okay. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't, without God utilizing what my dad did to get me out of that mentality and get me out of that way of talking, that way of thinking, and all that kind of stuff like that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because, like I said, he taught me how to talk. I'm able to articulate and communicate in the way that I do because of those 3 or 4 years of relentless teaching. But he also did something else. He made sure I was in church. See, before then, we'd go to church, but it would be occasionally. It'd be like for a special Sunday. Y'all know it is. Easter, around Christmas, New Year. Not all the time around New Year's, but definitely Easter. It was that kind of thing. It wasn't really, wasn't really hitting church like that. But when my dad came in, it was full-fledged. We going to church. We're gonna get in here and get this word. And that had an impact on me. And then when you couple that with his drive to root out this thugness, this thug veneer, this outer crust of thugginess, it had a significant impact. Like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today if it had not been for that. But at the same time, I wouldn't have got through all the stuff that I had to go through because of what my dad was teaching me had it not been for my stepdad. Come on, y'all. Let me explain this thing to you. Look here. Let me tell you what happened. So my dad started teaching me, and he moved me out of the Atlanta Campbellton Road area. Okay. So Atlanta Campbellton Road at that time was getting getting pretty bad. It wasn't that great. I mean, it was okay, but it's just not the place you wanted to raise your kid at the time. And it's kind of still like that today. Not as much, but maybe, I don't know. But it was getting bad. And so my dad was like, I've got to raise my son up, and we got to start us a new family in the suburbs. And so he took me to the suburbs. And at this time, Decatur, Georgia was the suburbs. So he took me out there and raised me. I was raised around a lot of different people, grew up around, in the same community as Chris Tucker, and we'd be playing football against different streets and stuff like that. Initially, there was not a lot of Black people there. There was not a lot of Black people. When we initially got there, it was a lot of whites. As a matter of fact, I think it was mostly whites. As a matter of fact, the house that my father and my mother bought the house from, they were Asian. Okay, it was an Asian couple. And so went there and we started that life. And my dad started training me, like I said, to be a articulate young man, very communicative, being able to express myself properly in the English and in the American system, and just learning how to do things appropriately. But again, I had that veneer. And so it was fine for about 3-4 years. I was also getting into church, learning about Jesus Christ and, what he's done for us. And that was, I'm telling you, it was very significant. It was very good.
God bless you all. Remember, the real fight is over the quitting. And I will never, ever, ever, ever quit. God bless you.
As always, we are blessed to be a blessing, and our desire is that we have been a blessing to you. Peace.